Invest only in what you yourself know a lot about. Do not listen to other people. Don't even listen to Korean TV. Do not listen to other people. If you want to be a successful investor, do not listen to hot tips. Stay with what you know. Oh, that's boring. If you want to be a successful investor.
안녕하세요, 이효석입니다. 오늘은 박지원 아나운서와 함께 짐 로저스를 인터뷰해보려고 합니다. 박지원 아나운서님께서 어렵게 섭외를 해주셔가지고 이야기를 해보려고 하는데, 지금 짐 로저스가 어디 있죠?
지금 짐 로저스는 미국이 아닌 싱가포르에 있습니다.
그러니까
금융 허브죠.
싱가포르에서
네.
투자를 하고 계시는데, 최근에 이제 미국 주식에 대해서는 좀 비관적인 생각을
맞아요.
가지고 계시고, 그런데 왜 그렇게 생각하시는지, 그리고 이분이 굉장히 오랫동안 투자로서 살아남으신 분이잖아요. 살아남았다라는 것 자체만으로도 우리가 배울 점들이 많을 것 같아요. 그래서 한번 인터뷰를 시작해 보도록 하겠습니다.
Today we have a true living legend in investing with us, Jim Rogers, and he predicted major economic crises like the dot-com bust and the 2007 meltdown. We're thrilled to hear your insights today. Hello, Jim. It's nice to meet you.
I am delighted to see both of you. And I am a fan more and more of Korea these days.
Mr. Rogers, you made headlines recently by saying you sold all your US stocks. Does this mean that you think the good times for the US market are over for a while? And why did you feel that way?
Well, the United States stock market has been going up since 2008, 2009 without a problem, a big problem, and that's the longest in American history. Maybe it's going to go on forever. In Washington, they say, don't worry, don't worry. When Washington says, don't worry, I worry even more. So I know the world, the US is overdue for a problem. I just want to be ready for the problem.
What do you think is the biggest crisis right now in the US stocks?
Well, the main problem is valuation. The stocks have been going up for a very, very long time in the US. I see many things I've seen before, lots of new investors coming in, lots of optimism, lots of confidence, lots of overconfidence, people thinking that this is fun. It's a wonderful, easy way to make money. Easy. It's an easy way to make money, and that's always dangerous. So I sold.
So the valuation.
I don't mind if I'm too soon. I'd rather be too soon than too late.
I think the valuation, especially the tech stocks, were really high. Why do you think tech stocks were hit so badly?
Well, this is not my first rodeo. I've seen this many times. A new something comes along, whether it's the railroad or automobiles or electricity, radio, whatever it is, something new happens. People get very excited because new things are new and exciting and wonderful. And it's happened again. I mean, these heavenly seven or whatever they were called, when there's anything new, it's usually exciting because inventors and business people or technicians always come up with new things, and they're often very, very exciting. And tech stocks, tech advancements are exciting.
So, under what conditions would you consider buying US stocks again?
Oh, if they go down a lot, I would certainly, when things are cheap, I like to invest. And if something happens and makes stocks in the world, especially in America, go down a lot, I hope I'm smart enough to invest again.
I think US stocks went down a lot because of Trump issues. Do you think this is the right time to go in?
Or do we still have to wait?
I'm not investing now. I didn't know they went down a lot. I know there have been stocks that have gone down some, but I don't see any place in the world, maybe China, where things went down a lot. So no, it's not time for me to go in. I will certainly change. I hope I change my mind if things change.
We think that the AI stocks, the tech stocks went really high because the US companies were leading the AI area, but then could you explain this with the dot-com bubble?
Well, whenever there's a new advancement, there's always somebody who leads the new industry, the new whatever it is. And usually there's more than one, when something new happens, whether it's electricity or automobiles or whatever, more than one group knows what to do. And that's, as far as I can see, that's what's happened again. I'm not a very technical person. I'm not smart enough, but so I usually don't invest. I don't like to invest in anything unless I understand it very well. And I'm not as smart as you and other people.
You are smarter than us.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
What do you think makes you more special than other people? What aspects do you have?
Well, I didn't know I was more special than other people. That's interesting to know. I don't know why and how. If there's anything, I guess it's because I'm always very skeptical and I'm always questioning. Because I know that when people tell me, oh, this is different, it's never different, whatever it is. And when you hear people say, it's different this time, be very worried. Be very worried.
And we thought that when Trump got elected, things were going to be different. But recently, you warned that President Trump's tariff could be a tragedy for the world. What did you mean by that?
Well, if Mr. Trump does some of the things he does, it might be good for the world. But my reading of Mr. Trump is he doesn't really know, He wakes up one day and he watches TV and then decides what's to do. Margaret Thatcher was the British Prime Minister. We more or less knew how she thought. And if something happened, we could figure out what she would probably do. My reading of Mr. Trump is he doesn't know what he would do. And so it's harder for me anyway to figure out what will happen. And that makes investing more complicated, makes the world more complicated. And my main reading is that Mr. Trump just doesn't have a guiding principle like Margaret Thatcher did. And so it's more difficult to figure out what to do. That's A. And B, America's had the longest period in its history without an economic or stock market problem. So maybe it's going to go on forever. I hope so. Washington says it will. Mr. Trump says, don't worry. When people in Washington say, don't worry, I worry even more.
Maybe Trump should have you in the White House.
No. Booyah. No. I'm quite happy not being in Washington.
You just said that when Washington says there's nothing to worry, you get much more worried. Is that
From
because
your experience?
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, even not just my own experience, I've read enough history of Washington and other government centers to know that usually they don't know what they're doing. Often they're just trying to get votes or trying to make people happy. And that's not the way to run the world. You have to deal with the world in reality. You cannot invest. I cannot invest for what I hope. I have to invest for what is happening.
Okay, so the Washington told us not to worry, and you told us that that's when we should get much more worried. So from an investor, what should we buy? Is it gold, silver like you, or any other different
Bitcoin?
stocks?
Or?
I own gold and silver. I do, and I have for many years. I do not own Bitcoin. I have never bought nor sold short Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is not for me. But it's difficult for me now to find things to buy because many countries in the world have had good stock markets, good investing communities. And when everybody's happy, as I said, I worry. And just about every market in the world, I mean, I do own shares in China because they have come down a lot.
Yeah.
I do own Uzbekistan. because Uzbekistan is, I think, a changing country, a changing market. But for me, it's very hard to find anything right now. Maybe I will just watch TV in Korea and get hot tips.
You advocated for de-risking rather than decoupling when it comes to US and China relations. Could you explain the difference between the de-risking and decoupling?
Well, I'm not sure I know what I meant, but what I am saying is
Yeah.
that history is very clear that when countries engage with each other and trade with each other, usually the world is better off than if they're fighting with each other, even a trade war. Trade wars have never been good for anybody. So China and the US have had some periods where they've had wonderful progress and prosperity together. I hope it will happen again. They're both very large economies, large markets, and they can make a lot of money together if they work together.
But China and US are having a big conflict right now. Do you believe there's a viable path to resolution?
This has happened throughout history. There have been periods when people fight with each other, and it's usually not been good for anybody. I know that China and America can work together. They have in the past. There have been periods when we both made a lot of money and progress. I know it can happen. Will it happen? Often something happens and somebody says the wrong thing or does the wrong thing. I know that China and America can have great progress and great success together. I certainly hope so. I have not sold my China investments mainly because they never skyrocketed like they did in some other countries.
So you warned that if US debt keep rising, America could lose its global dominance like Britain did. Could you explain your perspective in more detail?
Throughout history, if somebody has a lot of prosperity and good times, it usually leads to overexuberance, overenthusiasm, overinvestment in something that's new, and things get very expensive. I mean, when everybody's having a good time, everybody gets confident and excited, and it usually leads to mistakes. I certainly know I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, and I've seen other people do the same thing. Whenever you see whenever people say, don't worry, this time it is different, you should be very worried. You should close the window and go home.
I know people say this time it's different, but every time they say it's different, the reason why they're saying it's different becomes various reasons. Like this time it's because of perhaps Trump. So we were thinking this time when Washington says it's okay, there might be some different reasons that they're saying that.
Whenever they say it, there is a reason that they say it. When the railroad came, people said, this time it is different. Well, it was different for a while. Things did change for a while. But as I say, it often leads to overenthusiasm, overconfidence, and mistakes. I certainly have made many mistakes. And, you want to hear about my first wife? Oh my gosh, that was different. Yes. Oh my gosh, it was different. And led to mistakes.
If the US were to lose its status as the dominant power, some say it could signal the end of capitalism. I wonder what you think about this.
Well, it's not the end of capitalism, I assure you. People are going to be capitalists for the rest of humanity. There may be problems along the way, but that's not the end of capitalism. That's depression, that's bear markets, whatever it is that happens. We do have changes in our lives and in the world. And what that usually means is there's a bear market. People are losing money, and that's not good. But if one learns that that's normal and that it happens often, and one learns to deal with it and to invest in bad times, it can make It can be different for you. It can be good for you. But listen, this is not easy. I assure you, investing is not easy. I wish it were. Oh, I wish investing were easy, but it never has been for me. One has to question, I anyway, have to question everything and then question everything again because things are always changing. That's one of the reasons investing is exciting. The world is exciting, but one has to be very worried and very careful.
I know investing is so hard, and that's why we came to ask you questions and some.
And
I
to
wish it
find
were
some
that easy. Oh,
Even though China has its own set of problems and gets a lot of criticism, you're still positive and investing in China stocks. What makes you see opportunities in China despite that the markets went so low?
it's the largest population in the world. It's a huge economy, and they are changing from what they were communist, as you know, where they had many problems, many mistakes, and they are continuing to change. China has a long history. China's the only country that I know of that's been on top 3 or 4 times. I mean, Rome was great once, Egypt was great once, Britain was great once, but China's been great 3 or 4 times. China's collapsed 3 or 4 times and been disaster 3 or 4 times. But for whatever reason, China has frequently turned around and gone back to the top. It seems to be happening again. That does not mean there will not be problems. That does not mean there will not be losses. But one must be careful. And if you're
Within
careful, there are often opportunities.
Then within China, are there any specific types of industries that you find more promising?
Well, right now, I'm mainly looking to see what is down. I don't have an answer to your question, a specific answer to your question of something that's new. I am looking, and I usually start with to see what is down, what is suffering. That is often a place to start. You know, the Asians have a word, I forget the word, but it basically says that opportunity and disaster are the same thing. That's something that the Koreans have known, the Chinese have known, the Japanese have known, that if you find disaster, it is often an opportunity.
Then what major challenges do you think China is currently facing?
Well, the main thing that they face right now is that they have been successful, that many people are making money, and that there's prosperity. And that's fantastic and a lot of fun. But it leads to mistakes and overvaluations. And I don't know any specific overvaluations in China right now. I'm not selling short anything in China right now, but I'm always looking because I know what human beings do. Human beings get enthusiastic and excited, and it often leads to problems.
Currently, I think the problem in China is the oversupply, and then Trump keeps on putting more tariff onto China. How do you think China can overcome these problems?
Well, I have read enough history to know that tariffs have never or rarely, if ever, been good for anybody. Yes, somebody always thinks they're good this week, this month, this year, and there's always somebody who supports tariffs, but I don't know many, if any, periods in the world history where tariffs have been good for the world. So Mr. Trump has a different view. He thinks he can get votes with tariffs. He thinks he can get prosperity with tariffs. My reading of economics and history is different. So I do not see tariffs as being good for anybody except a few voters for a short time.
I think US has tightened restrictions in China, especially in semiconductors and AI technology. How much do you think these restrictions are actually hurting China's plan?
Well, I repeat, restrictions and restraints of trade have usually not been good for people. What history shows is that when people are trading with each other and then trading more with each other, it leads to opportunities and new markets and exciting opportunities. Not always, of course, but that's usually the best way to go. That's how you have new innovation. That's how you have cheaper prices. That's what the way the world is often better off with more trade and more open markets.
China and US are having big fights. Who do you think can win this fight?
Nobody can win any wars, and certainly not trade wars. Nobody will win. Maybe somebody will feel better for a while, but in the end, it's not good for the world. Never has been.
Who do you think will put their hands up faster?
Well, I put my hands up and say, stop, stop, stop. But they don't stop. Politicians get emotional and excited and try to win votes.
You've been investing successfully for many, many years. If you had to just give one single piece of timeless advice to everyone listening today, what would that be?
Invest only in what you yourself know a lot about. Do not listen to other people. Don't even listen to Korean TV. Do not listen to other people. If you want to be a successful investor, stay with what you yourself know a lot about. Do not listen to hot tips. Do not listen to hot tips. Stay with what you know. You might say, oh, that's boring. Be boring. If you want to be a successful investor, be boring.
You've been buying silver and gold since 1971, and you never sold any of your holdings. You've also said if the prices drop, you would buy even more. How much further would gold and silver prices need to fall before you start buying again?
Well, what I said, if they go down, maybe I misunderstood you. If they go down, I hope I'm smart enough. I mean, silver's down now. I bought more silver recently. I have not bought more gold recently. Gold is making all-time highs, which is wonderful for the people who own them. But I do not like to buy at times like this. So, I don't know how low gold has to go. I watch the market and I see when people get despair or despondent, unhappy about the price of something, then I start getting more interested. So I guess if gold went down, 30%, I don't know, I'm just making up that number, I would be more interested. But I did buy more silver recently.
In order to success in investing, you have to endure the boring. How did you overcome the boring times? Because usually people, like investors like me, it's really hard to endure those periods.
Well, I have certainly made many mistakes. Oh my gosh, yes, I've made many mistakes. And it usually is when I don't do enough research. I would like to blame it on you. I would like to blame it on Korean TV. I would like to blame it on somebody. But nearly always when I make a mistake, it's because I did not do enough homework. I did not do enough research. I would like to blame it on you, but it's usually my own fault when I don't do enough research. All I can tell you is, I'll say again, invest only in what you yourself know a lot about and do a lot of research before you invest to be sure that you're right. I cannot tell you how many mistakes I have made, how many mistakes we have all made. And in my case, it's usually because I did not do enough research. I got overconfident, or I thought I knew what I was doing, and I didn't.
What was the biggest mistake that you made in your life? And we wonder how you overcome that.
Probably my first
Just one.
It's when you get enthusiastic, you think you have found something new that's exciting and different and going to change a lot of things for you, for the world. It's overconfidence, overenthusiasm, sloppy. Just don't do enough research. You don't check enough things. That has nearly always been the reason for my mistakes and other people's mistakes too.
What was the reason that you decided to move to Singapore and live there? Is it because it's like an economic hub, or was there other reasons?
Well, no, for many decades, years, I have told people that they should teach their children and grandchildren Chinese because China is a rising country that's going to be one of the next great countries in the world. I said that many times over the years. And then I had a child. Oh my gosh, what now? So we had a child and we started teaching her Chinese, but I realized, living in New York, and it was working, but I realized if I was serious, I really had to raise her in a place where she had to, a Chinese-speaking country, where she had to speak Chinese. We tried China, but China was extremely polluted in those days. It was fun, but it was changing. But then we just tried Singapore one day, and Singapore is a very interesting, successful, prosperous country. And so we decided to move to Singapore, where she would have to speak Chinese, and where she would speak Chinese. For me, my goal was for my children to speak Chinese, good Mandarin. I speak no Mandarin, none, zero. So I wanted them to speak Mandarin. And we came down here, and it's a very exciting place. It's a very successful place. It's a good place. So we decided to move to Singapore. We got into a good school for the girl, for the daughter. She liked it. We liked it. When we came here, I don't know if you remember Lee Kuan Yew, who was the guy who made Singapore in the beginning. He said to me, well, Jim, we're very happy that you moved to Singapore, but you must be careful because in Singapore, we speak bad English and bad Chinese. I didn't know what he was talking about then. Now I know. But we're very happy in Singapore. It's a very well-run country. And they do speak Mandarin and they do speak English.
Oh, that's great.
And my children speak apparently extremely good Chinese. And so we're very happy here.
I think we covered a lot today, Jim, from US, China, and great investment wisdom from you. Thank you for having the time and sharing the time with us. And we'll really appreciate your time.
Tell you one of my views of the world, and that is that if and when Korean Peninsula opens the 38th parallel, I didn't say unification, I just said open the 38th parallel so people can go and come and go and can trade and have parties together. Korea will be one of the most exciting countries in the world for several years. So I hope that somehow somebody will open the 38th parallel so that there is a new Korea and the world will be much, much better off, including especially Korea. So I look forward to the day when that will happen. And when it happens, I will buy the beer.
Yay! Two beers.
Right. I want to repeat my main wisdom is invest in what you yourself know a lot about. Do not listen to other people. Stay with what you know, and you will be more successful.
Can you say
HS 아카데미.
HS Academy? Forever. Yes, I agree with
Okay,
forever.
thank you.